In this first line, we are importing the reactive and to refs functions from Vue's core library. The reactive function allows us to create a reactive state object, while to refs is a utility that we will later use to convert our reactive state object properties into refs. Here we're defining an exported function named useCounter. This function is a composition function that will allow us to encapsulate and reuse our state logic. Inside the function, we declare a constant called state and assign it to a reactive object with a single property count initialized to 0. This reactive object will be the foundation of our state within the useCounter function. Next, we define an increment function within useCounter. This function directly mutates the count property of our reactive state object by incrementing its value. Each time increment is called, count gets updated, and Vue's reactivity system tracks these changes. Now we're returning an object from the useCounter function. The spread operator is used with to refs to convert each property of our state object into a reactive reference. This allows us to maintain reactivity when we destructure the state in a consuming component. The increment function is also included in the return so it can be used externally. With that closing bracket, our useCounter composition function is complete. Let's now see how to use it within a Vue component. Here we are in the script setup of a Vue component. We're importing the useCounter function from the file we just created. The script setup syntax is a syntactic sugar provided by Vue 3 that lets us use the composition API more easily. We're calling our useCounter function and destructuring the returned values. We extract count, which is the reactive reference for our counter state, and increment, the function well used to modify this state. This marks the end of our script setup block. Our reactive state and functionality are now ready to be used in the template of our component. In the template, we define a button with a click event listener. When the button is clicked, it calls our increment method, and inside the button, we display the current value of count. The curly braces syntax here is used for data binding, allowing us to render the reactive count state in our template. This demonstrates the use of the reactive state and method provided by our composition function useCounter in the components template.